welcome to Verdictum. I am Ananya Singh and you're watching today's legal news, where we talk about the recent important legal developments across the country. Here are the headlines. Singapore Chief Justice Sundaresh Menon shares bench with CJI Chandrachud in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court directs the inclusion of two of its judgments on bail and arrest guidelines to be made part of Judicial Academic's curriculum. Law Minister Kiren Rijiju expressed that time for filling up of vacancies of judges in the higher judiciary cannot be indicated, for it being a collaborative process between the executive and the judiciary. Allahabad High Court agrees to hear plea seeking transfer of suit to the High Court in the Krishna Janmabhoomi Shahi Eidgah dispute. A 20-year-old girl who had moved the Supreme Court for permission to abort 30-week pregnancy agrees to give birth and give the child up for adoption. Now let's take a detailed look on the headlines. Chief Justice of Singapore, Sundaresh Menon, shared the bench of the Supreme Court of India, headed by CJI D.Y. Chandrachud. Justice Menon, who has been serving as the fourth Chief Justice of Singapore since 2012, is in India to take part as the chief guest of a function to be held on Saturday to commemorate the 73rd anniversary of establishment of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India came into being on 28th January 1950 after replacing the Federal Court of India and the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. The Supreme Court issued directions to make part of the curriculum of state judicial academies two of its judgments, laying down guidelines regarding bail and arrest. The two judgments are namely Siddharth versus State of Uttar Pradesh, which was passed in the year 2021 and held that there is no obligation on the officer in charge to arrest each and every accused at the time of filing of charge sheet by virtue of section 170 of the Criminal Procedure Code. And the second judgment, titled Satyendra Kumar Antil versus CBI, passed in 2022, dealt with easing the process of bail and emphasized that the accused should not be remanded in a mechanical manner. Union Law Minister Kiren Rijiju expressed that the filling up of vacancies in the High Courts is a continuous, integrated and collaborative process between the executive and the judiciary, and it requires consultation and approval from various constitutional authorities, both at the state and the central levels. Hence, the time for filling of vacancies of the judges cannot be indicated. The Allahabad High Court agreed to hear a plea that sought the transfer of the suit from the trial court to the Allahabad High Court in the Krishna Janmabhoomi Shahi Eidgah Masjid dispute. Justice Nalin Kumar Srivastava observed that the matter requires consideration and issued notice to the Muslim parties on a transfer plea filed by the Hindu parties. The suit before the trial court seeks removal of the masjid on the ground that it was built over the Krishna Janmabhoomi land. A 20-year-old girl who had moved the Supreme Court to seek permission for abortion of her 30-week pregnancy agreed to give birth to the child in AIIMS Hospital in Delhi and put the baby up for adoption. A bench of CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice P.S. Narasimha and Justice J.V. Pardiwala had asked Solicitor General Tushar Mehta and Additional Solicitor General Aishwarya Bhati, along with the counsel appearing for the young girl, to deliberate with the justices on the fate of the unborn fetus, as the unmarried woman said that she would not be able to look after the child. Thank you and keep watching Verdictum, and subscribe to our channel and download the Verdictum app on iOS and Android to keep yourself updated with authentic legal news.